Listen to that wind.
Oh! My Lord!
Herbie, you should see what that wind done.
I heard it, Pa.
But you didn't see it.
Don't need to see it, Pa.
You're really missing something, Herbie. No, turn around. Take a look over there.
Why, yes, Pa. That sure was something.
Your move. If you were half as smart as you think you are, you wouldn't be working for that Megan's fellow.
You know, it'd be a shame if the sergeant major gets here and you two clucking like a couple of hens. I'm going to remove this board.
Now, milling wood wasn't meant to be done by anything more than an axe and a crosscut.
Next year's 1900, Pa. Everything is gonna change.
Change is not what the good Lord intended.
Good Lord, 10 for a man to mill about 100 board feet a day.
Maybe.
The good Lord give us brains to figure out a better way.
Some of us.
Well, he give them to Mr. McCormick, who used them God-given brains to dream up the steaming bark belt stripper. And that steaming bark belt stripper is gonna be the invention that's gonna make you the folks of a rich man someday.
Oh, Pa, won't that be grand? There he is.
There he is.
Confounded thing. Mother? Herbert? Sergeant Major Morris.
How is your dear mother, Sergeant?
Unfortunately, she took something grave last winter, Mrs. White. Has been weakened ever since.
Bless her heart. Will you tell her Mrs. White's praying for her?
I will, ma'am. Thank you.
My Lord, I just can't get over how big you've got.
Sergeant Major, I'd like to hear more about Cuba. Now, Herbert, did you know that the Sergeant Major rode with Mr. Roosevelt?
That's so.
It is true. And I should rather have spent my days cutting timber than spent my fate on that hateful expedition.
Well, Sergeant Major, I thought the liberation of Cuba was a matter of duty to God and country.
Well, it may have been, Mr. White. It may have been. For we fought true, and I believe the Lord was beside us.
Did you know that Mr. White read to me from the newsprint that Mr. Roosevelt and his Rocky Mountain Riders took the hill at San Juan in a bloody battle?
Well, the hill was took, Mrs. White, but not by us. The 10th Cavalry, a colored regiment, had already stormed and captured it. We ate their beans.
Well, I sure would like to go to Cuba sometimes.
Better off where you are.
Well, to be in that jungle. Now, you were telling me something about a holy man?
Nothing. Leastways, nothing worth hearing.
A holy man?
Yes, ma'am. While in Cuba, we met up with the brave soldiers under the command of the old Indian fighter, General Nelson Miles. He had just returned from taking Puerto Rico, and his men were in dire want of rest. For his part, General Miles is an honorable man. However, not a few of his infantry were irregulars of less than fair character.
Oh, then they were ruffians.
Indeed, ma'am. It had been rumored in camp that there lay, just beyond the jungle, a remote mountain village fairly teeming with young Cuban maidens. It was determined by a small band of these ruffians to ascend the mountain. Well, you'll forgive me, ma'am. Decency prevents me from further exposing their intentions.
My Lord.
Through the bitterest jungle, we hacked for a day and a night. The men in fevered anticipation of that which awaited them. However, arriving on the village, we discovered only the meagerest collection of huts teeming with filth and heathenism.
Reckon there weren't no maidens either.
Herbert.
The men, with no reward for the privations of their trek, became agitated. They declared the village an outpost of Spanish insurgency and drew saber against the native population. It was a slaughter, Mr. White.
Lord. What about the holy man?
In our band was a young boy named Flynn. Flynn was a victim of youth, unacquainted with dignity and shame. Having found the village medicine man, Flynn undertook to humiliate him in the most unconscionable way. Resigned to his fate, the medicine man proffered the boy an object.
What object?
This, Mrs. White.
What is it?
He called it mano de mono, a monkey's paw.
Well, is there something special about it?
It had a spell put on it, Mr. White.
Spell.
I would not laugh, Herbert.
What kind of spell?
That 3 separate men could each have 3 wishes.
Well, now, Morris, why don't you have 3?
I have.
Did anyone else have any wishes?
The boy, Flynn. I don't know what his first 2 wishes were. But the 3rd was for death. That's how I got the paw. Better let it burn.
Sergeant Major, if you don't want it, give it to me.
I won't. I threw it on the fire. Mark my act. If you keep it, don't blame me for what happens.
But it come all the way from Cuba.
Keep it if you must. And if you must wish for something sensible. But mark my act. I threw it on the fire.
I don't know what to wish for.
Wish to be an emperor, Paul.
Then you can't be henpecked.
Don't you be talking about your mama that way.
It seems to me I got everything I need.
Well, if you paid off the house, you'd be happier than a pig in the holler, would you?
Yeah, I could do that.
So wish for $200. That'll just about cover you.
I wish for $200.
What happened?
It moved. I made a wish, and it moved in my hand like a snake.
Oh, Paul. Why, it's just an old man's fancy is all.
Well, I don't see no $200. I reckon I never will.
Well, I reckon it didn't do any harm, but sure did give me a shock.
It's just your imagination is all, Paul. All them old soldiers are just the same. The idea of you believing the sergeant major, how could wishes be granted these days? And even if they could, how could $200 hurt you, Pa?
Might fall out of the sky and drop on his head.
Sergeant Major said things had happened so naturally they might just seem like a coincidence.
Well, we'll break into that money before I get back. Don't want to see you turn into an avaricious old possum. Turn bolt. I'm gonna have a go at you when I get home tonight.
Pa, Mr. Wyatt done come with the mail. Why don't you go down and get it? Never seen him before. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Them's a long flight of stairs. I'm Mrs. Wyatt. This is my husband, Mr. Wyatt. We weren't expecting no visitors.
I was asked to come call on you. I come from Megan's Mill.
Megan's Mill.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything happened? What's wrong? Anything happened to Herbert?
Now, Mother, don't jump to conclusions. You didn't come to give us any bad news. That's right, sir, huh?
I'm sorry.
Is he hurt?
Badly hurt, ma'am. But he's not in any pain.
Oh, thank the Lord for that. Thank the Lord for that. Not in any pain?
He got caught in the machinery.
Caught in the machinery.
Yes. There's no simple way to explain it. The bark stripper has what's called a master belt. It turns what we call reciprocal knives, and if you... Well, that's not important. The firm wanted me to offer you their sincere sympathy with your loss. I beg you to understand I'm only their servant, merely obeying orders. I was to say that they admit no responsibility. They admit no liability at all. But because of your son's services, they would like to present you with a certain sum of compensation.
How much?
$200.
Oh, come back to bed, Mother. You'll catch your death of cold.
It's colder for Herbert. The monkey's paw. The monkey's paw.
Where is it?
I want it. You didn't throw it out, did you? Did you?
No, Mother. It's in the other room. Why?
I just thought of it now. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. Why didn't you think of it before?
Think of what?
The other two wishes, Pa. The other two wishes. We've only had one.
Wasn't that enough?
We'll have one more. Go get it. Wish our boy alive again.
Oh, holy God, Mother. That's crazy.
Go get it. Go and wish. My boy.
Come back to bed, Mama. You don't know what you're saying.
The first wish was granted. The first wish come true. Why not the second?
It was just a coincidence.
Don't you want to see your boy again? Your own flesh and blood? Walking through that door like he done every day of his life since the day that he was born. I can't stand it no more. Please, go and wish our boy back.
Mama, it's a foolish and a wicked thing.
Wish.
I wish my son alive again.
What's that?
The wind.
It's Herbert. It's Herbert.
Now, what you doing?
I forgot. The cemetery's 2 miles from here. He only just got here. It's our boy.
Mama, don't. You don't know what you're gonna see.
What are you talking about? Let go of me. Let go of me. I gotta open the door. I'm coming.
Mama, you can't let it in.
Are you afraid to see your own son?
I can't let you do it!
Oh, but Herbert. Oh.
I wish my son dead again.